I have the privilege of being this year's president for the CIHT, and it was therefore very special for me to be able to be here and give the second Laureate Award to Steve Rowsell. Steve and I have a common background. We're both Devon boys, born and bred, started our careers in Devon. I first met Steve, again, when I joined council at CIHT, and I think it was the External Affairs and Communications Board, Steve, that we first started working together. The things that I take away from Steve, his passion for, again, bringing on the next generation, for investing in the future. His focus when he was president was collaboration. And collaboration is something that we need even more so in our profession as we look to some of the challenges moving forward. Collaboration not between the private sector, the public sector, and the institutions as we look to tackle some of the sector skills that we need to think about moving forward. So again, it is my really deep pleasure to be able to invite Steve to come to the lectern and receive his Laureate Award for 2019.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much, Ginny. Thank you very much, Highways UK. I've got a few notes, otherwise I'd be here all night, so let me refer to them. I have been very fortunate to have a long career working on some of the UK's highest profile transport projects, such as the Second Severn Bridge, Newbury Bypass, Birmingham Northern Relief Road and Crossrail. In fact, I started so long ago that my CV says I got over 30 years experience. I've actually got 45 years experience, but that makes me sound much too old. So, I was brought up in Exeter, as Martin's mentioned. In those days, travel by road in Devon was an absolute nightmare. A trip to the Midlands took so long that you needed to plan where you were going to stop overnight. So the gradual emergence of new sections of dual carriageway and motorway, wonderful new motorways, was very exciting, and I wanted to be part of that. My first job was actually at the other end of the country in Northumbria. I helped WC French build the A69 Headon-on-the-Wall bypass. It actually went through Hadrian's Wall, but nobody seemed to make too much fuss about that. After graduating, I joined the South East Road Construction Unit in Hampshire. I worked on the controversial M3 Twyford Down, the Twyford Down project, and that did attract a lot of road protest. I think the southern natives were a bit more hostile, and that was my first but not my last encounter with road protesters. When the RCU's closed, I moved to the Department of Transport West Midlands Regional Office. I project managed the Birmingham Northern Relief Road and also the Western Orbital route. The BNRR went on to be built as the M6 toll, not so far away from here. The Western Orbital route got dropped, I'm afraid, although I think that, like a phoenix, it might rise again at some stage, but who knows. In the early 90s, it was that I was moved into a construction director role and was faced with a very confrontational industry. Many schemes had very large cost overruns, late openings and substantial disputes were the norm. An initial priority for me at that time was to resolve final accounts for 30 major contracts, which were all over 3 years old. Billions of pounds at stake, and it was no way to run a business. Following some very damning reports from the National Audit Office, the Latham report was produced in 1994. I'm sure you all remember that, maybe not, but that was the first sign that the government recognised the need for change and the need to integrate delivery teams. I was appointed as the Highways Agency's partnering champion. We took a few tentative steps towards partnership working. Just a couple of examples. On an A50 Stoke contract, relationships were so bad that there were over 40,000 contractual letters on a single contract. The final account would have dragged on for years, so we agreed a cooperative approach to resolving the final account. At a partnering workshop, the parties were asked on a scale of 10 to rate how much they trusted the other parties. The contractor scored us, the client, 0. I was disappointed, but it was actually quite good because they scored the engineer -10. But despite that, within 6 months, the final account was signed off. The first construction project, which the partnering approach, collaboration was applied right from the outset, was actually Newbury Bypass. And Tony Scutt from Costain, Nigel Robson from Motts, who sadly is no longer with us, and myself against Swampy, Arthur Pendragon, and many of their friends. And the partnering approach led to the road opening early, and apart from the additional security costs, was within budget. A considerable success, and I regret to say I'm not going to launch into any of my Newbury anecdotes tonight. There were some good initiatives, but there was more substantive change was needed. My appointment as HA's procurement director gave me the opportunity to do that. In 2001, we published a new procurement strategy based on the principles of collaboration, early contractor involvement, and the award of contracts on best value rather than lowest price, and much more than that. Most importantly, we had a great supply chain that was willing to engage with us and support the initiatives and to make them work. And we had some fantastic relationships, and I really appreciate that time and the support I was given. After 7 really enjoyable years, it was time to leave the HA and allow them to adapt the strategy to suit new requirements. I left to establish Rowsell Right with Gary, who I think is back in the naughty corner, right at the back. We've enjoyed working on a wide range of highways and railway projects, including Crossrail and HS2, and developing some innovative approaches. So just a couple of thoughts on what I think the industry's priorities ought to be now. For me, the key aspects are, making collaboration work even better, pulling together the elements of collaboration that we know have made a real difference, strengthening the role of leaders in embedding the right culture and behaviours across projects and across the organisations, getting cost estimating right. We're still not there with cost estimating. Why are those contractors' and clients' estimates so far apart? Getting a common and fair understanding of contractor risk is key to that. We must avoid reverting to lowest price tendering, and I hope everybody understands why. We need better and more effective market engagement and dialogue, talking with rather than talking at. And events like this bring people together and are very valuable to the industry. So thank you very much to Highways UK for this award. It is very much appreciated. Thanks very much to my Rowsell Right business colleagues, Gary and Andy. Thanks Liz and Juliet who are here tonight, and thank you very much to all of those of you here tonight who have supported me during my career. Thank you.